Chattisfying.
Sorry, the topic that we're looking for today is all about seasonal content. So like we mentioned earlier, this is not just about Halloween streams or Christmas themed streams. It's also about only maybe streaming at certain times of the year in terms of growth and making the most of your time, I suppose. It's something that I hadn't really considered myself too much, but I'd like to see, first of all, our guest Nave. What's your thoughts on this particular subject?
I think with making content creation, because just overall, whether you stream on Twitch or whether you edit videos on YouTube or just make TikToks or funny Twitter clips or whatever it may be, content creation takes a very long time to be able to do. You can stream for 6 hours and then you'll maybe get like a good 20-minute gameplay. Like the input that you have to put in, the time that you have to put in versus the output that you actually get, the time just doesn't add up. There's so much more input rather than output. So I think working smarter than harder is definitely something that I know I struggled with, because I uploaded daily for like 3 years straight and had minimal output. And it was just, I thought I was, I was on the grind. I was doing that. I was doing this. And, I was really going for it. But I just wasn't working smart. I was just working dumb. It was like a dumb, hard thing. And I definitely overlooked it for a very long time. And I still personally overlook it way more than I want to. But at least I'm interested in the whole topic, is like seasonal content. Like, I know with YouTube, and I've known this for years, it's just like in your October, November, and December months, those pay out more. Like, say if you had one video that got 50,000 views and that's all you posted for those 3 months, the last 3 months of a year, you'll get paid more than you will for the first 3 months of a year, just because of like the ad revenue, and people are
everybody's doing that sales situation, prepping up for
Yeah.
Christmas and all that kind of stuff, so everything gets bolstered up on that, so the pie is bigger to take a piece out of, essentially. Yeah.
And I have a friend who's in real estate, and he averages 80 viewers per stream, I want to say, somewhere around that number. And for, I believe it was October, that's normally like a poor month around that time for him. So that entire month, he just was all about real estate. And then for the next 2 months, he streamed for an ungodly amount of hours on Twitch, and he made so much more money than if he were to stream on October as well. So he just made a lot more money overall than he would just streaming those 3 months. He made more money streaming 2 months than he did if he streamed all 3 months. So he just worked a lot smarter and then not harder. Like he just had his first stream back yesterday, because January was a very poor month, both for Twitch and YouTube, because everybody bought their gifts. Everybody is kind of out of the giving season, or like giving mood or whatever, or like gifting like 50 subs or gifting 10 subs or whatever that may be. Usually January is just like a slow month for almost any content creator at that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just been trying to work smarter and rather than harder.
Okay, so you say he worked 2 months. What did he do with the third month? Did he just take it off, or was he doing other stuff in that time?
No, for like, say if we're talking about October, November, and December, right? On October, he'll just do real estate. Like, that's all he'll do. He won't stream. He won't do anything. He'll just do real estate. And then November and December, then he'll actually stream those 2 months.
I see. And you've been thinking of doing that kind of thing as well yourself, have you? Or
it somewhat in a way like that, because I don't necessarily have a thing that I could do like how he does real estate. I don't have anything necessarily like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the months leading up to those final 3 months of a year, you should really be planning ahead. Like, you should be in the month September, you should have almost all of your December content already planned out and knowing what you're going to do, just so you kind of have a direction and you know what you want to do with that. And I want to do something like that, like So for December, that was my closing year or my closing month for my college classes. So I had my finals and I had, I just really want to finish out my school year strong. I didn't want to slack off. So I really only uploaded like 3 videos or so. And I made like X amount of money. And this month alone, I have uploaded 3 times the amount and getting 3 times the amount of views. But I'm still making that X amount of money that I made just in December so far. So it's
but
just
do you
like,
not find that's like an investment into your future content, because obviously you're getting 3 times the amount of views and all that kind of stuff. You're getting more people in.
Yeah, no, it definitely is still an investment, and that's something that you 100% want to do. It's just more of like you want to be more scheduled and be more interactive with your content during those seasonal months from a business standpoint, because it's very hard to talk to your audience about business standpoints and them not thinking that you're kind of taking advantage of them, because at the end of the day, you need to make money. That is your job, and that's how you provide yourself. So it's very hard to talk business with some of your viewers, and I personally never shied away from that. I don't really care if you don't necessarily respect the whole business aspect of it. That's just you, and I don't necessarily take anything away from that. But I know a lot of my viewer base, they love me talking about the whole business aspect of it, and they like learning about that stuff, and they're very intrigued, because a lot of the people who watch my stuff, they also like make their own stuff. So they'll send me like their videos and say like, hey, can I get your opinions on this? Or how can I change this? How can I make that better? Or how can I make this better? And I'll give them my opinions and tell them like, hey, you should do this, and then reach out to this guy to be able to help you with this, to be able to make it better. So then I just try and give them a lot of advice on what they can do different to be able to like really be efficient with their content.
Yeah.
So you are trying to be as efficient as you can with your own content as well?
Yes, I definitely am. There's a lot of like, so I made this one video where I just recycled a lot of my Twitter content. Like I'll post like a 20 or 30-second Twitter clip to Twitter, and then whenever I get enough clips of that, I'll compile all those Twitter clips into a video, and then I'll post that, and it did unbelievably well. All of my viewer base that follows me on Twitter has already seen it, yet they'll still watch the video on YouTube, even though they've already seen it, just because it's all put together. Like I just posted a video, the best of 2020 of my stuff for like all the how they really plays of all the big personalities within the community, and that video did absolutely amazing. Not only has everybody on my YouTube already seen all of the content, but they wanted to watch that content again in a video form of it all just compiled together of the best of. So it's just about like working smarter and, like I said, not harder. And the same thing with the whole Twitter content. The stuff that I'll post to Twitter is literally the same exact stuff that I will post to TikTok. I personally despise TikTok, but the discoverability on that platform is just outrageous. I personally got angry on how fast I grew on that platform. I'm pissed that I grew that fast, because in my opinion that shouldn't be a thing. I posted 3 damn TikToks and I got more views than I did in an entire month, or the entire like 2 years that I did YouTube. Wow. That's unfathomable. It's just so unbelievably easy. I don't want to say easy, because I've kind of know what to do and what direction to be able to grow and how to do it. So I just kind of applied those properties over to TikTok, and it worked out. I know that it's not necessarily crazy easy to, you post a thing and instant famous or whatever on that platform. That's not what I'm trying to say. But if you know kind of how to, in general, kind of grow your content, TikTok is just an amazing platform that if you post things that people would want to watch, it will farm and it will do absolutely amazing. I've had people come from TikTok to my YouTube or come to my Twitch and say, hey, I love your TikToks. And it's just 20-second clips that will take me like 20 minutes to be able to edit and put together and then post and everything. Like the whole process for a day is only going to take me 20 minutes, and I'll get the same kind of exposure that I would for like a 6-hour stream or something like that. So the discoverability on that platform is just unbelievable.
That's crazy.
And you're telling me I don't have to do any dances, right?
No dances.
That's good, because once I start shaking, the body doesn't stop rocking. It's terrible. It's like a Mexican wave that keeps going. It's terrible. So I've got to be wary.
You can't stop it.
No, you really can't.
it's just basically working smarter, isn't it, Navelow? I think people do like to see best ofs, especially if they kind of feel like they had a hand in the original content as well. And they're like, I was there, kind of thing, So I think that is a great idea. I like sort of working smarter. How do you feel about sort of seasonal in terms of Halloween and Christmas and this kind of thing as well? What are your thoughts on that kind of content and seasonal content?
It's a great idea because there's a lot of people who, like, I'm sure you guys are both streamers. I'm sure that there's been people like when Halloween is coming around, hey, can you play a scary game with the lights off or something like that? Can you play that? It's just something that people would want to see, like the whole. And this is something that took, again, me a very long time because I've never had like somebody who's kind of overlooked me and kind of like, hey, you should do this or guided me. So I've had a lot of trial and error. I've done it for like 7 years. And it's just, you got to make content that people want to see. Even if it's not something that you necessarily want to do, it's just, you have to know what people want to watch. Obviously, there's going to be a couple people who would want to watch this or would want to watch that. But if you want to really reach the masses, you really need to create content that people would want to see. And I personally hate scary games, but when it comes to Halloween, I'll play those scary games because I know people would want to see them. And if they're having fun, I'm having fun. Even though I'm not necessarily enjoying the game, the reason I stream to Twitch is for that interaction. It goes both ways for the viewer and the streamer. So even if I'm not necessarily enjoying the game, if the chat is having fun and they're like interacting and whatnot, I'm having fun. So it's just, I think seasonal content, even to the degree of like, doing a Christmas stream or doing a Halloween stream, it's very good. Like I said, the guy who does a lot of real estate, he's very animated and whatnot. Like he wore, I forget what it was, like a Mario mask while playing the game at like the highest level, and then he made a YouTube video out of it, posted it to YouTube. Not only did his, and then he also posted of that gameplay. He posted like a small little snippet clip to Twitter. So he streamed with the mask on Twitch, and he got a gameplay. He posted that gameplay to YouTube, and then a small little snippet clip he posted to Twitter. So he really only streamed and did that, and he got a really good stream out of it. Really interactive, really fun. And then he also got a YouTube gameplay out of it, and then he also got a Twitch clip out of it. And I'm pretty sure he uploaded that Twitter clip to TikTok as well. So it's just, he worked very smart. And he's very good at multitasking while not even multitasking, if that makes sense. Like if you can make YouTube content on your Twitch stream, you don't have to take that extra time to be able to make that YouTube comment or that YouTube content outside of streaming. If you can do it on stream, then clip it and then upload it, it's just working a lot smarter. And he's done that for Christmas streams. He's done it for charity streams, birthday streams, Halloween, Easter. He's done it for all the different kind of like seasonal kind of holidays.
Amazing. All right. Have you got anything more to say on that particular subject, Nave?
Not necessarily. I think just the really big takeaway is like knowing what months are good, what months are bad, knowing how to work smart and when to, I don't want to say when to motivate yourself because you need to be motivated year round, but really to hone in and kind of drive the nail in on certain months and knowing what to do, how to do it, and just knowing how to do and when to do it, I guess.
Awesome.
See, I love the whole seasonal thing because I tend to shake it up a little bit more. So, for example, on Valentine's Day, because I'm single, I play a horror game, preferably one where I kill things, which is a good thing to do. Right on Halloween period, it kind of irritates me a little bit that everyone plays like the same kind of game. Like it's either going to be Outlast or it's like Dead by Daylight or something like that. A big horror-y kind of game. But I tried to find something that's a little bit more niche. Like I enjoyed what's it called, like Little Nightmares or something like that. And it was it's a little bit more indie, but it had that kind of ambiance of scariness and stuff like that. The ambiance, yes. I'm going for the continental viewers out there. All right, leave me alone. But like I try to not go for Dead by Daylight is a lot of fun, and and all that kind of stuff. But everybody seems to want to do that kind of stuff. So I'm still happy to make myself shit myself quite often. That's not a problem, Halloween. I'm happy to do that. I have plenty of spare underwear, so it's okay. But I want to I like finding games that people don't know about and don't know the jumps and don't know the scary bits and the ominous bits and stuff like that. I quite enjoy. So we have a shared experience of, oh fuck, that just come out at me kind of thing, and it was it's fun to find those things. But like I'm a huge believer in that kind of stuff. So I enjoy doing the Christmas stuff as well. Again, with the Christmas stuff, I try to find stuff like playing. I don't know if you remember this, Nave, because I'm like 40 years older than you. It feels like anyway, because you're young and youthful and full of life, and I'm decaying at 34 and feel like I'm 90. But I used to play this. I used to have a floppy disk, right, that I got from school, and it was really cool. Mm-hmm. And on the floppy disk was Elf Bowling, which is one of the best games I ever played. And it literally was flinging elves down a bowling alley on a floppy disk game. And it was pixelated as hell, and it was. But I've played that on a Christmas stream, and it was great. And then you do like these viscera cleanup things with like Santa and all that kind of stuff, and make jovial things. It's not all about eating fucking candy canes and shit like that, all right? It's fucking up the elves. But I love doing stuff like that. Just trying to make a slight twist on these kind of things. I also do a Christmas in July because it's my birthday in July, and I like Christmas and I like presents and shiny things. So I do a Christmas in July. But what we tend to do is have a big party and just. It's like a club scene and stuff like that. It's really cool. But I'll decorate up for just one day, and it's all good and have a bit of a laugh. And people come in and go, "What the fuck is this about? Why are you doing Christmas? I hate Christmas!" And I'm like, "Shut up! It's fun. It's shiny, and you get presents." That's why I do like giveaways and stuff like that as well, just to do things. But it's. I think it's good to do the seasonal thing, but it's definitely worth trying to create your own spin on it as such, because there's a lot of generic out there. I said there's a lot of Dead by Daylight and all that kind of stuff, which is it's a very fun game. But like when that Phasmophobia thing came out recently, and everybody was all about that, and I was looking at going, God no, because they're going to make me want to play that. And luckily they didn't. They actually made me play it in December, which was glorious. So it's okay. I got to experience it after the craze. But I think that's kind of cool. When the craze dies down on something, then it's people can come in and enjoy it at their own pace and their own leisure and stuff like that. It's not all like huge hype. It's like more like nostalgia, almost, but like a short-term nostalgia. So I like doing that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I'm a huge believer in the seasonal stuff, as much as some people absolutely hate it, which I find baffling. Why wouldn't you want to enjoy yourself? I enjoy streaming. I enjoy chatting to people and making people laugh and have a good time, and sometimes do weird dance moves and stuff like that. It's what it is. But yeah, seasonal's really good, and I like the idea in terms of the YouTube content, in terms of like the January, February times, which is the lowest, because a lot of people may not know that the pie is smaller because not many people are buying things because they spend it all at Christmas, where all the ad revenue goes anyway and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense. But I still think it's good to. I was thinking about it for myself, right? Because I used to go for a steady thing of doing a video a week, regardless, in the olden days before I started doing Twitch, and I was still thinking I was thinking maybe not doing January or something like that, but I don't know whether it's worth like shortening the amount of content you do, because you could take it as like your own personal, because as a content creator, generally, if you're full-time, it's very difficult to get your own vacation time as such. You can't really do the generic, I'm going to take the Christmas period off, because people are at home watching the Christmas period stuff.
Yep.
So I noticed that some people tend to do, for example, like I watch a lot of Minecraft because I'm sad and actually 12-year-old inside, so I noticed that they tend to back up content and do random bits and then plonk them on a slightly slower schedule, but it's at least it's forwardly uploaded, so all they have to do is wait for the timer to go off and it pings and it's there for people to watch. So it keeps people entertained, but you still have that period off. I think that's a good way to look at it. But then I mean, could you maybe do like highlights of the year for 2021 from 2020 or something like that? Like you could look at because you do highlights of like a certain segment of the week or of the month and stuff like that. Could you not maybe like do segments on that and go, these are the best things, and really use that recycled content that we were on about earlier about working smarter? So that could kind of fill up at least 1 week of some content for your January, where obviously it feels slightly degrading that you're putting content out and not getting anything back from it as such. Is the best way I can put it. You know, you're doing it more for the viewers than for your own content and profit. So recycling content, doing the best bits, kind of maybe do a commentary on it, you know, a little slip yourself in the corner and go, well, this is when I fucked the shit out of this guy using this gun. It was amazing. I zip lined down. It was awesome. I just, and then, you know, you give your own little spin and highlights, you know, your ultimate highlights of the year. And that's just a week content. I just wonder if that's maybe a good way to look into helping with the drier months as such, where it's not as hard worky for a smarter work as well.
Yeah, no, I think the word recycle content has a very bad connotation to it.
Yeah, it does.
It's just like, yes, recycled content, if it's recycled too much, is a very bad thing, because it just looks like you're trying to get money. It just looks like you're lazy. It just looks like you're completely out of ideas. But if it's done right, you don't mind it, and the viewers, most importantly, want to see it. It's a win all around, and there's no badness to it. If it does well, your viewers like it, and it's just a really easy video for you to do, then there should be absolutely zero reason to be able to do it. And I also like how you said that you play like a scary game like Christmas. Like, if you can make it, I think it's more of like less of a, you know, play a scary game during Halloween kind of thing, more like a, this is an event, you know what I mean? It's kind of like this is a carnival happening at this time of the year kind of thing, where it's like, I know like the offline TV house, which is like Pokimane, Disgusted Toast, all of them, they just played Among Us, which isn't necessarily a scary game, but they were able to make it, you know, different from just a regular Among Us game or something like that. So definitely just trying to, or even like checking out, like usually games nowadays have like an in-game event where it's like, you know, check out this like Christmas tree at this portion of the map or something like that. Like checking out those seasonal things within the game, that could even be an event that you can do during like Halloween or Christmas. So it's just a matter of like making, like you said, making the seasonal content it's kind of own thing, and like making an event.
Yeah. Well, I think myself, I was just thinking about a whole working smart thing, right? That you were sort of talking about, and making certain content at certain times of the year, right? I was just thinking, because that's more for the kind of streamer that wants to be famous, right? That wants to make something out of it, wants to make money. For the more casual streamer, you don't really need to do any of that stuff. You know, you're streaming to a community that you've built already. You know, a lot of people are happy just doing that. So in terms of actually like doing certain things at certain times of year, and then not streaming at other times, for example, like you said, like this guy that you said worked smart and did, was it you said he did the rest of the year? Some sort of property thing?
He just, real estate.
Real estate, yeah, exactly. That works really well for him, because essentially he's in it for the money, right?
For the most part, yeah, that is the business aspect of his ideas, yeah.
And your business acumen is great, but a lot of people aren't really into it for that. Like,
I agree, yeah.
If you are, like the whole thing about the grind is never good. Like no matter what, because if you feel like you're grinding, then you're probably not having that much fun, right? And the grind never works. It never works for anyone. It's just a waste of time. You should either be having fun or you should be working smart, right? Yep. One or the other, or preferably both, right? So the grind. If you're in it for the grind, leave. Stop. You're only hurting yourself.
There's nothing wrong with a little bit of grinding, though, man.
A little bit of grinding, yeah.
A little bit of grinding is good, yeah.
And you sort of mentioned about the distinction between working smart and recycled content. There's definitely
I couldn't think of a better word for recycled content, to be fair. And I know it's just, I hate using that myself, because I like, for example, with my channel, I like to use as fresh as I possibly can, but I can't think of another word for recycle other than reuse, which is very similar to recycle.
It's basically the same word.
There's no winning about it.
There's definitely a line in the sand which is probably too easy to walk past, but I think that a lot of people in the kind of in the kind of section of Twitch where you haven't got a massive community, like that kind of recycled content is not going to work, because you need the audience first before actually putting out to all of these things. Because ultimately, if you do a Twitch channel and no one's watching, and then you submit that to, I don't know, like Twitter, like you say, like clips to Twitter, and there's no one watching that, what's the point? You know what I mean? In the end, you just everyone's putting too much content out onto all these platforms, and we'll just end up drowning in content that nobody wants to watch. So I don't think working smart necessarily is a good idea in what you're in the way that you're talking about, Navelow. Like straight off the bat, I think you need to have like a jumping off point. You need to start and get a bit of a community together before you start doing those kind of things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just going to come across as really, I don't know, like
pompous and arrogant to a degree because
Yeah,
you think
arrogant,
it's worth
yeah.
doing it. Yeah.
insincere.
Yeah.
Right.
All
Yeah,
right, big
like
word.
the
That's
first the first 3 years was the first 3 years like I said, I was on that grind,
Yeah.
and that was fun to me. That was fun.
If
It
it's
was
fun,
just-
then don't stop. But
Yeah, that was what was fun to me, and I honestly at the time thought that was good at the same time. And not only did I think that it was good for me, but I just had fun with it.
Yeah.
But now knowing that it just wasn't, worth my time to be able to do that, I don't take it back, because like you said, I think at the beginning of everything, you need to just have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like at what point do you need to start working smart if you actually want to take it
yeah,
to the next level. So for the first 3 years, I just had fun with it.
Yeah.
And I just had a bunch of people who just watched me because of me. It didn't matter what game I was playing.
yeah,
It was just because like I was genuinely having a fun time,
Yeah.
putting in all that work, playing all these different games and creating all the content. So I agree with what you're saying. I think a lot of different things when it comes to content creation. There's, I had friends in high school who were just like, oh dude, I'm going to create my own YouTube channel, get millions of views. It's not as simple as just, creating a video and then it blowing up. You have to, it's very situational. Like with what you said, Mellar, like you kind of just play the game for fun and create the content off of the basis of just having fun with your community. And that's good for you because that works for you. And then what may work for you may not work for me, and what may work for me may not work for you, just
Exactly.
because for the lone fact of it just being a very situational kind of like career option.
At the end of the day,
Like-
if you're having fun, then have as much fun as you can.
Yeah,
But as soon as it stops
100%.
being fun, it's time to change, I think.
Yeah.
For sure. Or stop. But yeah, so it's never really something like I said at the beginning, it's not something I'd ever considered because it doesn't make sense to me. Like I stream for fun. Why would I just stop having fun for a couple of months of the year? Like it doesn't make sense to me. But if you're not necessarily, if you're more, trying to get that business acumen, and for the record, I do think that if you want to make it big, unless you're incredibly lucky, like sort of winning the lottery kind of lucky, you need to apply this kind of business acumen most likely.
Yeah.
Then it's really not required to really think into. And even then, like, it's not something you need to think about straight away. Like really, really small streamers, you just have fun with it. And then once you start
Yeah.
getting a community together, then maybe start thinking about it if that's what you want to do. With regards to like Halloween and Christmas and stuff, I never really liked the idea, just purely because it's what everyone else is doing. It's kind of similar to what Hairy Hippo is saying. I think Hairy Hippo actually takes it a step further, like in a good direction, in that you do the thing, but you do it at the wrong time. I just don't do the thing.
I'm bonus content, baby, is what I am.
Yeah. I've never really liked horror games, so I won't play them. So it comes around to Halloween time. I'm not going to change what I'm doing just because it's Halloween time. I like watching the occasional Halloween stream, but the problem is it's Halloween, so everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So
I personally, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, with everything that I did say about the whole seasonal content with like streaming a horror game at Halloween time, I personally don't even follow that. So I agree with your standpoint on that. I personally don't even do that, just because I like making my content very, I don't want to say diverse, because that means like, I play this game and that game, but I like making it more unique is the best way to explain it. It's just like, I don't like doing what everybody else is doing, because then you're just going to blend in and be like another another number, another Twitch account. You know what I mean? So it's just like I very much agree with what you're saying, where it's just like if you can make seasonal content not at the right time, but at the right way, and making it very unique to yourself, and making it like, again, it's just, I don't want to, I think seasonal content is the best way to explain the topic of what we're talking about. But the best way to explain like what we're actually trying to discuss is like making different things like an event at a certain time. Just making it very eventful is the best way to explain how I kind of feel about the whole subject matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of feel it's also like a supply and demand thing as well for me. Because, for example, I've been asked quite a few times to play Among Us, which I look at it and go, yeah, that looks a blast, but I ain't going to play it yet because it's such a huge fad at the moment. I don't want to be lost in it. You know, I kind of, I'm waiting a couple of months down the line when people are going, okay, let's go to the next fad, and I'm going to go on it. And then people who wanted to play it be like, oh, yes, I can play with Hippo. Not saying I'm like some kind of demigod here or anything like that, but it's, you know, when you've got a connection with someone, you just like really want to play with them. It kind of gets that vibe as well, which is nice because then I can give them something as well as receive a good time as well. It's guaranteed to be good content for me personally to enjoy.
Make them wait for it, right?
Yeah, make them wait for it. That's it. I'll give them a dirty tease look and say, I'm coming for you soon. You could be sus when you want, babe. You know, no. Yeah, but that's kind of the thing. That's the plan for me, is like I don't really do popular stuff at the time, you know, which is kind of like a detriment to myself because it limits my time to be able to play it. But I really enjoyed playing Phasmophobia after everyone else got really into it because they carried me the fuck out of it, which was gorgeous. So I was like, I love what I'm doing. And I'm like, just do this. But I enjoyed it more because they know what they're doing. They feel like they're technically in control, and it makes them feel good as well. And overall, the ambiance, the feel of it all is fantastic. You know, and that makes it heartwarming for me, and it's nice to give something back to the community that they want. Eventually.
Similar thing to you. That's probably one of the reasons why I almost never play a game that's newer than 5 years old. So I'm like, I'll play it when I'm ready.
To be fair, I've seen you play Zelda games, and that's definitely a horror game when you're playing it. So I mean, love you, Mel.
All right.
Yeah, go for it.
But no, with regards to seasonal content and like Halloween stuff, I don't like that kind of content. Like making, I don't like horror games, so I generally won't play them. There aren't really that many sort of Christmas games, to be honest. So I don't really see the point. I'm just like, I'll play essentially what I want to play, and we'll just sort of go with it. I did a Halloween stream once, and it was literally because at the time I streamed every Thursday, and it happened to be that Thursday was Halloween, like the actual night of Halloween, and everyone in the chat the week before was like, do a Halloween stream. I was like, you know what, fuck it, fine, I'll do it. And I shit myself. Obviously not literally, but yeah, I mean, there's quite a few clips on Twitch of me like basically screaming. You get the idea. And I think I lasted about 2 hours and a half. I was like, I think I had enough. You know, they had fun. I'm not sure. I mean, it was fun, but it's the kind of thing that I'd only do once, I think. But I think just playing like a horror game at Halloween, it's not necessarily a great idea in terms of like growth. I mean, obviously, if you want to do it and it makes you happy and it's fun, then do it. But if you're just doing it for like the views, I don't think it's necessarily a great idea because, like I say, everyone's doing it at that kind of time of year. So in actual fact, you're doing the opposite of what you want to do because suddenly you're streaming to what's the word, a category that has a lot of people streaming to it. And then suddenly you're right at the bottom of that category and no one's going to find you, right? And the only people that are going to enjoy it, not even necessarily your community, just the people in your community that asked you to do it. And how long are they going to stay? You never know. So it's kind of detrimental. What I think is a good idea, which is actually something I myself have never really done, is to play, like, again, for example, in Halloween, a non-Halloween game, but give it a Halloween twist. Because then you're doing the Halloween thing, but you're not necessarily playing a game that's going to be in a category that's going to tank you. That's one of the reasons why I quite liked what they did with Mod Loader in Ocarina of Time randomizers for both Halloween and Christmas, It's still Ocarina of Time. The game is exactly the same, but they made it look Halloweeny. They made it look Christmassy at the right time, and they made it so you couldn't make it look like that except at that particular time. So people would watch it because it's Christmassy. That's the kind of thing that you want. Or if you're going to play a game that doesn't do that, then you obviously have to bring the Christmas. For example, like maybe wear a hat, make a channel point redemption or something that makes it Christmassy. I don't know. You get what I mean, though. I think that is a much better way than just on Halloween playing a Halloween game, like a horror game, and then nothing more than that. You've added nothing. You've added no value to that other than the fact that you're playing a horror game that everyone else is doing. So, in terms of actually playing seasonal content, like seasonal games, I think you need to think about it. I mean, like I say, at the same time, if you like horror games and you want to play horror games, then knock yourself out, do that. But if what you're looking to do is to, you know, put yourself ahead or whatever, then, you know, just doing that, just playing a horror game, it's not going to help you, like, at all.
I agree.
I think that's really it. I mean, I really like your idea, Hippo, of like actually doing the event but doing it at a different time. I think that's genius because you get the best of both worlds then, because you still have the Halloween stream, but you do it at a time when, like Christmas in July, you do it at a time when people actually might be sort of craving a little bit of Christmas content, because, you know, it's been a whole 7 months since Christmas.
Yeah, I'm still singing Christmas songs now, and I'll probably still sing Christmas songs in May, June, July. I just have that habit, you know. So it's kind of, yeah, I'm destined to become Santa Claus. As simple as that. I'm going to get my beard long enough to do it. It's getting grey in it now, so I'm mid-30 Santa, you know. So it's all good. But I just think it's a nice, unique thing. And, you know, sometimes we'll throw in a random, like I think September we've done a New Year's Eve party. Just randomly do a New Year's Eve party.
It's genius, that. That's brilliant.
You know, label it as this. It's just an excuse to have a good time. Have a couple of drinks if that's your jam. Okay. You know, back in the days when we were able to play music, it was all right to play music, you know, and have a good time. And just chat. It was just a virtual party, and I like doing that. You know, it's a bit difficult now having Harris Heller in the background, having, you know, his stream beats going off, because people don't know the words to the stream beat stuff yet. It's still early, but with the amount of people using it, it's
none of the stream beat stuff that I've ever used has any words.
Nah, you're not using the electronic stuff then. You're using lo-fi.
Lo-fi mostly, yeah. I like the lo-fi stuff.
The electronics one's got some lyrics in there. They dabble with some lyrics. There's a little bit of sprinklage there. Yeah. And I find myself occasionally singing it. I'm like, what the hell is that song? Fucking Aracella. But I still, you know, you put on a genre of copyright-free music or royalty-free music or whatever, and then have a good time, because at the end of the day, you're still going to have a dance as a dance. And I'm going to, you know, pan out my camera and dance in the middle of my room like a twat, because that's what I do. You know, I still give away keys in Christmas in July because it's the time to give. You know, it's just having an excuse to do something different and have a laugh.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
Oh, really? You're throwing me some lyrics, are you? Man without a hat.
If they dance, then they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine.
Oh, God, please.
I see Navelow's just like sitting there. I don't think you get the reference, do you? No, it's a bit it's before your time, darling.
Baby. Yeah. Respect the old music.
I just feel like us two are grandpas now. Like, hello, Navelow. First person shooter player. I don't play those games. They're too young for me.
Oh my
Safety
God.
Dancey Moon knows what I'm talking about. Hello, Moon.
Oh my God, I feel so old.
Yeah, me too. I think
Chattisfying.